First Contact Protocol, the ambush. The void between stars had always been neutral territory. For 3,000 cycles, the trade lanes connecting the outer rim to the Galactic Council's heart had operated under a sacred truce. Until today, Ambassador Dr. Sarah Chen reviewed the diplomatic brief on her datapad, oblivious to the 6 Kravik interceptors materializing from quantum slipspace around her shuttle. The small vessel, marked with Earth's blue and green insignia, continued its steady course toward Station Kepler 7. "Human vessel, you have violated Kravik hunting grounds." A guttural voice crackled through the communications array. "Prepare to be boarded." Chen looked up calmly, her dark eyes reflecting the red emergency lights now pulsing throughout the cabin. The shuttle's AI, a smooth feminine voice, spoke with unsettling composure. "Ambassador, we are surrounded. Weapon signatures detected. Plasma cannons charging." "Open a channel," Chen instructed, setting down her pad. She never got the chance to speak. The first plasma bolt struck the shuttle's starboard side, tearing through the diplomatic shields like tissue paper. The second and third followed in rapid succession, converging on the cockpit. The view screen erupted in blinding white light, as superheated plasma, capable of melting through battlecruiser armor, engulfed the entire forward section. The Kravik commander, a scarred veteran named Thrak, watched with satisfaction from his lead interceptor. Humans, the galaxy's newest applicants to the Galactic Council. Soft creatures from a backwater system who thought diplomacy could protect them in the real universe. This would send a clear message. Earth was not welcome. Target destroyed, his weapons officer reported. "No life signs?" The officer's mandibles froze mid-click. Through the dissipating cloud of ionized particles and molten metal, a figure emerged, walking, slowly, deliberately. Through vacuum, Ambassador Chen stepped out from what remained of her shuttle's airlock, her formal diplomatic attire unmarred, her expression unchanged. She held her datapad in one hand. With the other, she brushed a particle of debris from her shoulder. "This is Ambassador Dr. Sarah Chen of Earth," her voice transmitted clearly across all frequencies. "I am here for scheduled diplomatic talks. I would prefer not to be late." Thrak's blood ran cold. "Impossible. Hit her again." The survivor. The Kravik barrage intensified. 6 interceptors unleashed everything in their arsenals. Plasma bolts, kinetic penetrators, even an experimental disruptor beam that had never failed to disintegrate organic matter. Chen continued walking through space, each step somehow finding purchase where none should exist. The attack struck her directly, enveloping her in fires that should have reduced her to constituent atoms. But when the light faded each time, she remained, walking, unhurried. Inside his cockpit, Thrak's claws trembled on the controls. "What is she?" His tactical officer, a younger Kravik named Sarek, stammered, "Commander, perhaps we should retreat from one human?" Thrak roared. But his voice carried an edge of panic he'd never heard in himself before. Chen had nearly reached their position now, moving through the void as if strolling through a garden. She raised her datapad and, impossibly, began typing on it. A moment later, a text-only message appeared on every Kravik screen. "I understand you are concerned about territorial boundaries. I have documentation proving this lane was designated as neutral space under Treaty 7 Alpha. Would you like to review it, or should I proceed to my scheduled meeting? I'm happy to discuss this diplomatically." Sarek looked at his commander. "Sir, she's offering to negotiate. After we tried to kill her." Thrak made a decision born of pure instinct. "Fall back, now." The interceptors vanished into slipspace, leaving Chen alone in the void. She waited patiently until a rescue beacon activated, then allowed herself to be tractored aboard the approaching Council security vessel. As the airlock cycled and atmosphere returned, the security team, a mix of Valorian insectoids and thin crystalline beings, stared at her with a mixture of awe and terror. "Ambassador Chen?" the Valorian captain managed. How are you? Alive?" Chen smiled gently, finally showing emotion. I apologize for the dramatic entrance, Captain. I assure you I'm quite all right, though I'm afraid I'll need to file an incident report about the attack. My shuttle was a gift from the Andromeda Coalition. They'll be disappointed about its loss. The captain's antennae twitched nervously. Ma'am, you were hit by enough plasma to destroy a frigate. You walked through vacuum without a suit. How? Chen glanced at her datapad, checking the time. Captain, I have a council session in 2 hours. Perhaps we could discuss human physiology during the journey to Kepler-7? I'd hate to bore the entire Galactic Council with technical details when I'm meant to be discussing trade agreements. Galactic Council emergency session news traveled faster than light when it traveled through quantum communication networks. By the time Chen's rescue vessel was halfway to Station Kepler-7, every council member had seen the footage. In the Grand Chamber, a massive spherical room where representatives from 47 species floated in individual atmospheric pods, the emergency session had devolved into chaos. This is clearly a military threat, boomed Ambassador Thorne, a silicon-based Litharian whose voice resonated like grinding stone. The humans have developed some form of invincibility technology. They could be unstoppable. Or, countered Ambassador Lys, her aquatic form rippling within her water-filled sphere, they are simply more durable than we assumed. We invited them to apply for membership based on their scientific achievements. Did we not review their biology? A smaller voice, belonging to the insectoid Valorian representative, chimed in. We did. Standard carbon-based life forms, bilateral symmetry. Nothing exceptional noted. But this. A hologram appeared showing Chen walking through plasma fire. This is unprecedented. High Chancellor Vorn, a being of pure energy contained within a magnetic field, pulsed with authority. Counselors, please. Before we panic, let us consider the facts. 3 cycles ago, we received Earth's application for membership. Their credentials were impressive. Quantum field manipulation, biological engineering, sustainable stellar energy harvesting. They presented themselves as scientists and explorers, not warriors. Then how do you explain the footage? Thorne rumbled. Vorn's field brightened thoughtfully. I propose we do something radical. We ask them. Ambassador Chen will arrive within the hour. Rather than assume hostile intent, perhaps we should extend the courtesy of inquiry. The council murmured, lights and sounds of various alien languages filling the chamber. And if they refuse to answer? Pressed Thorne. Then we will know they have something to hide, Vorn replied. But if they answer truthfully, we may discover that our fear is premature. After all, the Kravik attacked her first. She did not retaliate, she merely endured. Lys rippled in agreement. A valid point. A warlike species would have destroyed those interceptors. She offered to file paperwork instead. A dry, clicking laugh echoed from one of the upper pods, the Arachnid Collective's representative. Bureaucracy as a weapon. Perhaps the humans are more terrifying than we thought. Despite the tension, several species made sounds approximating laughter. Vorn pulsed decisively. Then it is agreed. We will meet Ambassador Chen as planned. We will ask our questions, and we will judge humanity not by our fears, but by their answers. This council was founded on principles of understanding, not prejudice. Let us remember that. The vote carried, though not unanimously. Thorne and several other militaristic species registered their objections, but respected the majority decision. As the council adjourned to prepare for Chen's arrival, Vorn privately accessed the original footage again. Something about the human's expression troubled him. Not her survival, but her complete lack of surprise at surviving. She had walked through vacuum and plasma fire with the casual certainty of someone who had done it before. What kind of world, Vorn wondered, produces beings for whom such things are normal? Chen's arrival at Station Kepler-7 hung in space like a jeweled crown, its 7 rotating rings home to hundreds of species. At its heart, the Grand Chamber pulsed with activity as Chen's vessel approached. Despite the Council's official welcome, station security had quietly doubled. Warships from a dozen species maintained patrol patterns that just happened to encircle the human shuttle's approach vector. No one mentioned it. No one needed to. Chen noticed, of course. She noted everything. The docking procedure took longer than necessary. Additional scans, redundant identification checks, routine security protocols that were anything but routine. Chen submitted to it all with patient grace, answering every question, providing every requested document. When the airlock finally opened, she stepped onto Kepler-7 alone. No guards. No entourage. Just a woman in formal diplomatic attire, carrying a datapad and a small bag. The Valorian security chief, Captain Zen, blocked her path with 6 armed officers. His plasma rifle was powered down but held ready. "Ambassador Chen," he said formally, "on behalf of the Galactic Council, I welcome you to Kepler-7. I must ask for security purposes. Are you armed?" Chen smiled warmly. "Only with excessive documentation and a somewhat dry PowerPoint presentation about Earth's agricultural exports. Would you like to search my bag?" She held it out without being asked. Zen's antennae quivered with confusion. She was being pleasant, cooperative. Nothing like the unstoppable force from the footage. He took the bag, scanned it. Contents, diplomatic papers, a datapad backup, and a protein bar labeled peanut butter allergen warning. "The bag is clear," his officer reported. "And you yourself?" Zen asked carefully. "How? I mean, what should we know about your capabilities?" Chen's expression softened with understanding. "Captain, I know the footage was alarming. I promise the Council will have all their questions answered shortly. But for now, know this. I'm a scientist and diplomat. I'm here to talk, not fight. Nothing I am changes that fact." She paused, then added gently, "Also, I appreciate your professionalism." The Kravik were significantly less welcoming. Zen found himself relaxing slightly despite his training. There was something genuine about her, a warmth that surveillance footage couldn't capture. "The Council awaits, Ambassador. I'll escort you personally." As they walked through Kepler-7's gleaming corridors, alien species of every description stopped to stare. Word had spread, the indestructible human, the one who walked through plasma. Some looked terrified, others curious. A few children of various species watched with unabashed wonder. Chen smiled and waved at them. "Ambassador," Zen ventured as they approached the Grand Chamber, "may I ask, were you afraid when they attacked?" Chen considered the question seriously. "Fear, no, Captain. Disappointed, perhaps. I'd hoped first contact would be friendlier." "But afraid?" She shook her head. "It takes more than plasma fire to frighten someone from Earth." Before Zen could ask what that meant, the massive doors to the Grand Chamber began to open. "Showtime," Chen murmured, adjusting her collar. Inside, 47 species waited to judge humanity's fate. The demonstration, the Council Chamber. The Grand Chamber fell silent as Ambassador Chen floated into the center of the sphere. Her environmental pod, a clear bubble of Earth-standard atmosphere, drifted gracefully to the designated position for petitioners. Around her, in concentric rings, 47 species watched from their own specialized habitats. High Chancellor Vorn's energy field pulsed a formal greeting. "Ambassador Dr. Sarah Chen of Earth, this council recognizes you. Please state your purpose." Chen bowed respectfully, a gesture that translated across most cultures. "High Chancellor, esteemed counselors, I come as Earth's representative to formally petition for membership in the Galactic Council. My people offer scientific collaboration, cultural exchange, and a commitment to peaceful coexistence with all sentient species." "Peaceful?" Ambassador Thorne's voice rumbled like an avalanche. "You walked through plasma fire that should have vaporized you. You survived vacuum exposure. These are military capabilities disguised as diplomatic credentials." Chen's expression remained calm. "With respect, Ambassador Thorne, durability is not aggression. A mountain is difficult to destroy, but it threatens no one." "Mountains don't apply for council membership," snapped the Kravik representative. "Not Thrak, but a political officer who'd replaced him after his retreat. Mountains don't board starships and walk through our weapons. You are either using technology you refuse to share, or you are a biological weapon. Either explanation disqualifies your species." Murmurs of agreement rippled through several pods. Chen had expected this. "Counselors," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the translation matrix, I understand your concern. What you witnessed appears impossible by your standards. But I assure you, humans are neither invulnerable nor weapons. We are simply adapted. Adapted to what? Liz asked, her aquatic form pressing against her sphere's transparent wall. What environment produces such extreme durability? Chen pulled up a hologram from her datapad. An image appeared in the center of the chamber, a yellow star with 9 planets orbiting it. This is Sol, our home system. Our star. And before I explain further, I must ask, how many of you are familiar with Sol's radiation output? The chamber's atmospheric processors hummed as species consulted their databases. Slowly, a pattern emerged, shocked silence from the scientific representatives, confused muttering from the military ones. An elderly, thin crystalline being, Ambassador Quartz, spoke in a voice like wind chimes. Ambassador Chen, your star is a G-type main sequence. Its radiation output is extraordinary. The ultraviolet alone should sterilize any planet in its habitable zone. It nearly did, Chen replied quietly. 4 billion years ago, Earth was indeed a hostile place. But life adapted, evolved, developed defenses. Vorn's field flickered with understanding. You're saying your durability is natural? Biological? Not just durability, High Chancellor. Our entire physiology is shaped by Sol's radiation. Our skin produces melanin to absorb UV rays. Our cells contain repair mechanisms for radiation damage. Our immune systems are hyperactive compared to most species because they have to be. Earth is flooded with mutagens. She expanded the hologram to show Earth itself, its blue oceans and green continents. We evolved under a star that bombards us daily with radiation that would kill most species in this chamber within hours. We breathe an atmosphere with 21% oxygen, a concentration so high it would be toxic to many of you. Our planet's magnetic field is powerful, but it only partially shields us. We are essentially radiation-adapted extremophils who happen to have developed sentience. The chamber erupted in debate. Ambassador Thorne's voice cut through the noise. Convenient explanation. But how do we know you're telling the truth? For all we know, this is elaborate misdirection while you hide military shielding technology. Chen met his gaze steadily. Ambassador Thorne, I appreciate your skepticism. It's warranted. So I propose something unusual. She paused, letting the chamber quiet. Test me. The arena test 20 minutes later. Chen stood in the station's combat evaluation arena, a massive spherical chamber designed for testing military equipment and training security forces. Observation galleries ringed the space, now packed with representatives from every council species. She had removed her jacket, standing in a simple white shirt and diplomatic trousers. No visible equipment, no armor. Just a human woman looking remarkably calm for someone who'd just volunteered to be shot. High Chancellor Vorn's voice echoed through the arena. Ambassador Chen, this is highly irregular. We do not require applicant species to submit to violence. I know, Chancellor, but I'm offering. Consent freely given. Chen smiled up at the observation galleries. Besides, better to settle this scientifically than to let fear poison our potential relationship. In the Kravik viewing box, the political officer leaned forward eagerly. She asks for it very well. Use standard plasma rifles. If she survives, we'll escalate. Zen, the Valorian security chief, descended into the arena with his team. His antennae drooped apologetically. Ambassador, I truly wish there were another way. It's all right, Captain. Just aim for center mass. And don't feel bad, you're actually doing me a favor. This is much better than endless debates. Zen positioned his team at various points around the sphere. On your mark, Ambassador. Chen closed her eyes briefly, took a deep breath, then nodded. Fire. The first plasma bolt struck her chest dead center. The superheated gas expanded outward in a brilliant sphere of blue-white light. When it cleared, Chen stood unchanged, though her shirt now had a black scorch mark. Again, she said calmly. The second shot hit her shoulder. Same result. The third hit her directly in the face. The observation gallery gasped. But when the plasma dissipated, she was wiping residue from her eyes like someone caught in a splash of water. Kinetic weapons. Please, she called out. A Letharian guard stepped forward with a mass accelerator, a weapon that fired dense projectiles at relativistic speeds. The round struck Chen's abdomen with a sound like a hammer hitting stone. She stumbled back one step, then steadied herself. That one I felt, she admitted, rubbing the impact point, like a strong punch. Try the disruptor next. For 10 minutes, the demonstration continued. Plasma at various intensities, kinetic weapons from small arms to anti-vehicle rounds, energy beams that should have boiled her blood, sonic weapons that should have liquefied her organs. Chen endured it all, not unaffected. She clearly felt impacts, showed discomfort at extreme temperatures, winced at sonic frequencies. But she never fell, never bled, never stopped being fundamentally, impossibly intact. Finally, Vorn called for a halt. Enough. We have seen sufficient evidence. Chen looked slightly disheveled now. Her hair messed up, her shirt ruined, but otherwise unharmed. Thank you, Captain Zen. Your aim was excellent. Zen's antennae hung limp with disbelief. How? Give me a moment to catch my breath and I'll explain to everyone. The truth revealed back in the grand chamber. With medical scanners displayed for all to see, Chen began her explanation proper. What you witnessed isn't invulnerability. It's cellular energy dispersion. She pulled up a microscopic image of human cells. Every cell in my body can absorb, convert, and redistribute energy. When plasma hits me, the thermal energy doesn't accumulate in one spot. It spreads instantly across my entire cellular structure. Impossible, breathed Quartz. That would require quantum-level coordination across trillions of cells. Yes, Chen agreed. And it does occur. Humans have a secondary nervous system you didn't detect, because it operates on quantum entanglement principles. Every cell is connected. We're not just multicellular organisms, we're coherent quantum systems. She displayed a graph showing Sol's radiation spectrum overlaid with human cellular absorption capabilities. This evolved because Earth's early atmosphere was thin. Solar radiation bombarded the surface. Early life that couldn't disperse energy died. What survived passed on increasingly sophisticated energy management systems. The oxygen in your atmosphere, Liz said suddenly. The high concentration, it's a battery, isn't it? Chen nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. High oxygen content means our cells can rapidly metabolize and release stored energy. When I'm hit with plasma, my cells go into overdrive, absorbing, converting, distributing, and releasing the energy as harmless heat dispersed across my entire body. It's why I got warm during the test but didn't burn. What about kinetic impacts? Thorne asked grudgingly. Those should have broken bones. Human bones are carbon composite structures reinforced with minerals. They're flexible yet incredibly strong. Our muscles contain contractile proteins that can tense in microseconds, spreading impact force. Again, adaptation. Earth has high gravity compared to many worlds, and our ancestors fell from trees a lot. She smiled at the memory of her evolutionary biology courses. We're not designed for war, counselors. We're designed for survival on a world that actively tries to kill us. Earth has volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, temperature extremes, radiation from space, and an oxygen-rich atmosphere that makes everything flammable. The species that survived to sentience had to be resilient. Ambassador Quartz chimed softly. Your planet sounds terrifying. It's home, Chen said fondly. And it made us what we are. Hardy, adaptable, and, I hope, compassionate. Because when you spend your entire evolutionary history fighting to survive environmental hazards, you learn to value cooperation over conflict. She looked around at the assembled species. That's what Earth offers the Galactic Council. Not weapons. Not super soldiers. Just a species that knows how to endure, adapt, and keep going no matter what the universe throws at us. We've survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, and our own worst impulses. We can contribute that perspective, that stubborn, irritating refusal to give up, to the galactic community. Resolution, a new understanding. The vote took less than an hour. When the results appeared, Chen felt her quantum-connected cells resonate with relief. 39 in favor, 5 opposed, 3 abstentions, Vorn announced. Earth is granted provisional membership in the Galactic Council, subject to standard integration protocols. Chen bowed deeply. Thank you, High Chancellor. Esteemed counselors, we will strive to be worthy of this trust. As the formal session concluded, various ambassadors approached to speak with her personally. Some with curiosity, others with lingering wariness, but all with newfound respect. Ambassador Thorne was among them. The massive Letharian loomed over Chen, his rocky form grinding thoughtfully. I still do not like this, he admitted. Your species is too durable. It troubles me. I understand, Chen replied. But consider this, Ambassador. If humans wanted to conquer, we could have arrived in warships. Instead, I came alone in a shuttle carrying nothing but paperwork. We survived our own planet's hostility. We have no interest in becoming someone else's. Thorn was quiet for a long moment. Your world made you weapons whether you intended it or not. No, Chen corrected gently. Our world made us survivors. There's a difference. Weapons exist to destroy others. Survivors exist to preserve themselves. We seek to preserve not just humanity but all sentient life. That's why we're here. The Letharian considered this. Time will tell which you truly are, Ambassador Chen, but I hope you are correct. He lumbered away and Liz floated closer in her sphere. That was bravely done, the aquatic ambassador said, volunteering for the demonstration. Many would have hidden their nature, Chen shrugged. Secrets breed mistrust. Better to be transparent, literally in your case, she added with a smile, gesturing to Lys's clear sphere. Lys rippled with laughter. I look forward to learning more about Earth. Perhaps you could visit my homeworld? Though I suspect you'd find our gentle waves rather dull after surviving plasma fire. I'd love to visit. Every world is fascinating in its own way. As the chamber slowly emptied, Zen approached hesitantly. Ambassador, I wanted to apologize again for, Captain. You were doing your duty and you did it well. No apology necessary. She paused. Though I do have one request. Anything, Ambassador. Could someone please direct me to wherever I can get a new shirt? This one's had a rough day. Zen's antennae perked up with amusement. Of course. And Ambassador? Welcome to Kepler 7. Truly. Later in her assigned quarters, Chen recorded her first official report to Earth. Mission successful. Humanity has been accepted into the Galactic Council. Initial reactions were predictably dramatic, but I believe we've established a foundation for genuine cooperation. She paused, looking at her reflection in the viewport. Behind her, the stars of 47 different home systems glittered in the darkness. They feared us at first. They may fear us again. But today they learned an important truth. Humans don't survive because we're strong. We survive because we refuse to stop trying. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what the galaxy needs. A species too stubborn to give up on peace, too resilient to be intimidated into war, and too curious to ever stop reaching for the stars. She smiled. Chen out. Outside her window, Station Kepler 7 continued its eternal rotation, now carrying humanity's representative among its population. The galaxy had gone silent when she'd walked through plasma fire. But now, the silence was filled not with fear but with possibility. Somewhere in the station's lower levels, the Kravik political officer reviewed the footage again, searching for weakness, finding none. In the Letharian embassy, Thorn composed a message to his homeworld. Monitor the humans closely. They are not what they seem. And in the High Chancellor's chambers, Vorn studied Earth's stellar data, marveling at a species that had looked at a deadly radiation-soaked world and decided not just to survive it, but to call it home. The galaxy had learned something today. Humanity wasn't invincible. They could feel pain. They could be knocked down. They just got back up afterward, every single time. And perhaps that, more than any weapon, was what made them truly formidable. High above Earth, a small probe received Chen's report and began its journey home. Carrying news that would change humanity's place in the cosmos forever, the message was simple: we're in. The hard part begins now. But Sarah Chen had walked through plasma fire without blinking. She had faced down a council of alien species and convinced them to give humanity a chance. Whatever came next, Earth had sent exactly the right ambassador, someone who embodied humanity's greatest strength, the absolute, stubborn, magnificent refusal to break.